This man wants to be London's next mayor. Rapper Drill Minister, with his signature balaclava and gold specs, says he's running for the capital's highest office on behalf of all those who feel forgotten, persecuted or ignored. We'll talk to him in his first TV interview since announcing his candidacy. Just a sec, but first, here's a bit of his musical manifesto.
There has to be change. They've done us wrong for too long.
800 hertz.
Delaying the vote, never considering us. Why? I'm sick of it, man. How many times? How many times? Yo, like how many times have we gone to the ballot box and seen no change? No. MPs lie in Parliament, on TV and in our face. Like how many times have we heard them scream at Brexit? What's that mean? Wow. The single market don't mean nothing on the road. Don't sell my dreams.
Heard May had to run back Europe to win and persuade backbenchers. Could the European Court of Justice ain't feeling our conscious agendas? That's a trip down buses for a lap dance, twerking for EU members. That's Michael Gove in bikini. That's Theresa May in the censors.
And he's here. Good morning. Thanks for coming back on the programme. Now, you have said that Donald Trump has inspired you to join this race to be Mayor of London. Do you have anything in common with him?
Do you know, that was kind of misquoted. I wouldn't say inspired. I'd say the Mayor of Sheffield was more of an inspiration for me. Seeing somebody from an immigrant background, somebody that mostly is excluded from something like politics, rising to the top of Sheffield's elite in terms of politics and becoming the mayor, that was a real inspiration for me, much more than Donald Trump. But Trump...
What you said was, just so the audience knows, people didn't take Donald Trump seriously when he was running. He's now the most powerful man in the entire world.
That says it all.
OK. Now, the budget the mayor has control over is £3.5 billion. You have no tax-raising powers, so you are limited to an extent in what you can do. I'm just looking at the kind of things you want to do. You want to cap peak time underground tickets for those earning under 21 grand a year.
100%.
0 deaths on the London Underground. Air pollution is a massive issue for you, say. Regarding homelessness, you want to introduce a contactless card that can be topped up to provide food, hostel accommodation and clothes.
Yes.
How much would all that cost?
Roughly, we're doing the estimates of it now, which I will release in 2 weeks. I don't want to give too much away of that now, because that will be in 2 weeks' time when more of that information comes out. But my team have estimated that it's possible. It's 150% possible. Right now, Sadiq Khan's raising tax for a police fund right now. So we are able to move around funds and do something.
OK. He is, the current mayor, has been criticised for his failure to deal with knife crime in the capital. How would you tackle it?
I believe there's nobody in this election that is more street certified, has knowledge of what is really going on with our youth, has knowledge of the scope of where London's going in terms of its future. I think I'm the most obvious representation of what the youth recognise, of what the people of the streets of London recognise.
So what would you do?
I definitely would introduce more authority and community-based relations. There's a breakdown there. That breakdown, there's a lot of talk about investing in just putting more bobbies on the beat, which creates a police state. And there's nothing wrong with protection of our citizens, but I believe the citizens want to know the person living next door to them. There needs to be a more cohesion within communities. And
how would you do? I mean, it sounds laudable. How would you do it? For instance,
something simple like Parents for Parents, where parents who have experienced the trauma and all the things that come with being a victim of their child probably being from knife crime, or losing a child, or losing a child to jail, going to a parent that's going through that right now and giving them some counselling and some advice, and then working with the communities and the authorities on how to, whether it be social workers, no matter what it be, because it's just authorities, it's people that have the power to help the communities and get them out of that situation where the rising crime right now, just punishment, which is part of my manifesto. I don't want Londoners to abandon each other. I feel as though we abandon the homeless, we abandon so many different scopes of people.
I'm still not hearing in practical terms how you would reduce knife crime.
Definitely there's practical terms there, man. If you look at the situation of right now, with the police and the communities, which I keep stressing, that is fractured. I can't tell you the methods in which the police are going to be able to curve it, because the relationship between the police and the communities are fractured.
Sure.
There's
So how would you rebuild trust then?
How you have to rebuild trust is that there's things like Divert. Divert is an organisation that helps young men or helps young people that are going through trials and tribulations and takes them away from street crime, takes them away from things that they're doing, and helps to rehabilitate them. I want to make things like Divert and the London Youth Violence Commission. I need those things implemented and made into legislation somehow, because those things need to be implemented to help the people on the ground right now. Right now, Divert is led by the Metropolitan Police. The communities, like I said, is fractured. That's why they don't want to work with Divert.
What is the root cause, do you think?
It needs to be, something like Divert has to be independent, an independent
Sure,
entity.
no, but what do you think is the root cause of knife crime? Talking as someone who has been...
The root cause of knife crime is austerity, is poverty, is people not having a chance at a future, is people not being given the opportunity of a future. That's the whole cause of why I'm doing this, to show people that, look at the apparent appearance of me. I'm not meant to be running for mayor. I'm meant to be excluded from something like this, because people from my background are not meant to have the confidence or the ability to drive themselves forward. Every single person from my background has been scared to do something like this, because this is where you get chastised. This is where the media really focus on trying to destroy your character and make sure that you can't be a realistic candidate. So I'm trying to fight against all that oppression, against all of that discrimination, and then put on the table I'm a decent human being who's fighting for Queen and country and fighting for the democracy of what Londoners want.
You yourself have been stabbed and kidnapped. Tell us what happened.
It's just an unfortunate thing that happens between the ages of 14 and 21. These things happen when you're leaving your parents. Your parents don't know what's going on when you leave their house. When you leave their house, there's so many dangers out there. A lot of parents don't know between 14 and 21, it is a lottery if your child makes it home when they're living in the inner city, because there's so many different dangers. There's so many different things that are going on, whether it be county lines talking going on now, whether it be child trafficking, whether it be young girls being encouraged and groomed and put into sex work and doing sex workers that we have a massive problem with in London right now.
What happened to you then?
My situation was more just a growing pain situation. I just fell in with the wrong crowd. I was mixing with people I shouldn't have. People your parents tell you to stay away from them type of people.
Right.
I was mixing with those type of people.
Let me ask you, you told us what you thought the root causes of crime were. Did you get in with the wrong crowd and end up being stabbed because of austerity?
All of these things. I'm from a council estate background. I'm from the same thing as most people, but it's not to cry me a river. It's just that was my environment. If I was growing up somewhere else, I'm not saying that the countryside is perfect and they don't have problems there, but if I grew up somewhere else that's more affluent, maybe my case would have been different. But these are the cards I was dealt, and I'm very good at poker, so.
To encourage social cohesion, I read that you want to open a hug shop. Is that right?
Yeah, a hug. In Piccadilly Circus, I want to put something there where it's got a camera, it has a hashtag that London is lit because London is lit. And then basically strangers or people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities can meet in this place in Piccadilly Circus and with a large crowd, just hug. Right. Just spreading love, because maybe that's what's missing from London. Yeah, no. There's always talk from my fellow candidates or people that are trying to be the London mayor of making this a financial district. I think, yeah, we can be the financial capital of the world, but we need to be the financial capital of creativity and love first. Humanitarian, that's what we need to be first. We need to care for one another, and then when we move on from that, we can talk about finances, because without love of people, there is no finances. Sure.
I mean, I absolutely get the love thing, totally. I just wonder about the principle of strangers hugging strangers in the post-Me Too era.
Well, yeah, post-Me Too era, I do understand that, I do hear that, but there's strangers killing strangers right now on the street. There's a lot of children killing children that don't know each other. So if we can spread some more love and put that in place, also transport's important to me as well.
Yeah. One of your rivals, Rory Stewart, has been out and about meeting people last year in his bid to be London mayor. We're just going to have a look at a clip of something he posted on Twitter. Let's have a look.
Hi, are you happy to have a quick film? Good to see you. I'm Rory.
Lilo.
Nice to see you. Good to see you. I'm Rory.
Screw, bro.
Good to see you. Very nice to meet you.
I'm Sev. Nice to
I'm
meet
Rory.
you.
Good to see you. Do you all live around here?
We do indeed, yeah, sort of.
Have you always lived around here?
We're from Ireland, actually.
You're originally from Ireland?
Dublin, Ireland, yeah.
Dublin?
Crazy. Yep.
And when did you move here? A few years ago. Hi there. I'm Rory. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice to know. My mistake. It wasn't in his bid to be London Mayor. It was his bid to become Tory leader. Later on, he apologised after he described those 3 Irish musicians as minor gangsters while speaking to a crowd at the Emmanuel Centre in central London.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that?
I don't even want to chastise him because people, like my appearance, I'm sure there's many grandmothers out there right now shocked eating their porridge
Not
while we're watching
necessarily.
right now.
Don't
but the
generalise
fact
about
of it is,
grandmas.
a lot of people fear what they don't understand. That's why Drill Minister is running for mayor, because I'm here to help people understand their fears. A lot of people have fears of things they don't understand. Rory Stewart, he's just meeting 3 random boys who are just walking out and about. They dress different to him. They speak in a slang and the Ebonics that's unknown to him. So he finds it a bit strange. So he probably minor gangsters. This is a terminology
He apologised. He apologised.
But you know.
Should we? I mean, you've been on the programme before. Obviously, you've explained why you wear a balaclava.
Yeah, it's my artistic right. That's how people recognise me. That's how people know that I promote myself. And
but
I don't
now
want to.
you're running to be London Mayor. Is it not different? I mean, you know, Billy is tweeting, why would anyone vote for a man hiding behind a mask?
Well, I mean, believe.
Are you scared of something?
No. My mask to me, I don't know. Obviously, every individual has their own stand on how they're going to interpret me. I can only be represented by my words and what my message is. I believe my mask is a mask of democracy, because my grandfather, my great-grandfather fought in the war in the RAF and killed Nazis for Queen and country, for us to have democracy today. So if my vote and my valid vote of democracy is not enough for the people, I don't know what is, because we have shed blood for our democracy. So we need to fight for it at utmost. And I'm not going to be a victim of facial recognition. I'm not going to be a victim of people trying to.
But when you're when you're running for an office like this, people want to be able to trust you. They don't simply want to look into your eyes. They want to see you. They want to think, can I go for a drink with that bloke? Would he stand up for me?
Listen, I'm definitely a bloke you can go for a drink with. But
do you understand that about the face and trust?
No, I don't believe it's important. I believe we have politicians in suits, and I think we've been conditioned to believe that a man in a suit with his face exposed is going to tell you the truth. But a man in a suit with his face exposed, a lot of the time these politicians, they become targets. They feel as though they become a target because of their face. So this is the cause of their lies, because there's so much pressure on them. I have no political agenda other than to represent for the people. I'm not trying to, like I believe Sadiq Khan, to work my way into number 10 and use this as a stepping stone. That's not my ambition. Just like Rory Stewart, because you failed at the Conservative leadership, now you're trying to go for London Mayor. I'm not trying to do something like that. Like Sean Bailey, you're trying to be the token black guy. I'm not trying to be the token black guy. I'm out here representing.
I don't think he'd say he was the token black guy.
But that's how I interpret it.
Sure.
My thing is, it doesn't matter the colour, the creed, the race. We are all in this together, and we have to march forward.
Brexit tomorrow. What do you think the impacts of Brexit will be on London?
That's a very important thing. I think a lot of people from supported minority groups are going to have to look out for each other, because I think Brexit is going to bring something across that hopefully it unites the country. Hopefully the country becomes united. Hopefully London becomes more united. Don't forget www.trulyformayor.co.uk for my crowdfund.
Did you vote Leave or Remain?
I voted for the people.
Which was?
For the people. Whatever the people voted for, that's what I voted for.
OK, well, that could be either Leave or Remain. But you see, if you can't be straight about really fundamental questions like that, is that not an issue?
That's not an issue with London Mayor. That's an issue that's national. When someone's running for Prime Minister...
Yeah, but Brexit is going to have an impact.
Brexit is going to have an impact.
Positive or negative on London.
It's that we can't fight against it. We can't go against it. It's already happened.
Why did you vote in the EU referendum?
I vote when it's important.
Did you vote in the EU referendum?
I did vote in the EU referendum.
Leave or Remain?
I can't tell you that because
Why not?
It's not an important question for London Mayor. It's an important question for a national, but not for London Mayor.
OK. You mentioned your grandpa and his role when it came to fighting for democracy in this country. How has he shaped you?
He's definitely shaped me because he's a war hero. He's everybody knows what you had Auschwitz. I'm sure talking about it this week. People know the importance of fighting for those that need help, fighting for the people that have no voice. That's my entire makeup. I'm just fighting for the people that have no voice. As I'm sure you can see, my look, my background. I'm not mainstream. I'm not meant to be here. But I'm here for the people because the people put me here, and that's what I'm here to represent.
And you want to be London's youngest mayor? How old are you?
Listen, I'm old enough to vote. That's the most important thing.
I think you're 27.
Ooh.
I'm spot on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Minister.
much.
Thanks for coming on the programme.
Thank you very much.
So far, 10 people have said they're standing for election as the next London mayor. You can see their names right there. And the vote is on May the 7th. The Met Office reports today that